If the world was true and just, we would get a Monkey Man v John Wick, and then the eventual sequel that would be better, Monkey Man x John Wick, a la Godzilla x Kong. But I guess one could only dream. Hey there, cinephiles. Today I'm reviewing Monkey Man. Real quick before I get into my review, I just wanted to touch on the funny fact that I did a double feature for my press screenings. First, it was The First Omen, and then it was followed up by Monkey Man. And for those of you that are in the know about posters, you can see why this is very funny, because I mean, they're basically the same poster. And shout out to Jeff, who I actually brought along to these screenings. 5 of the last 6 movies we saw together had big monkey energy. So yeah, it's been quite a journey with all this monkey energy to end with Monkey Man. But anyways, you're not here for these little side stories. You're here for my review for Monkey Man. This film not only stars Dev Patel, but it also has him in the director's chair for the first time. Now, as a directorial debut, this is actually really impressive at times. I say at times because there are some pretty glaring problems with this movie. But before I get into that, I really want to get into the positives about this because there is some genuinely great stuff. Overall, I'm really happy with the movie. It's a fun time, and I know so many people are just going to love this film, especially for those that are just looking for a really good, grounded action movie. Genuinely, I'm going to suggest this to anyone who likes John Wick or any film in that type of vein, because even for me, as someone who doesn't generally like that type of film, I still walked away having a great time. It's really impressive the stuff that you actually see Dev Patel doing. Like some of the stunts, you clearly see his face when they could have easily just gone with the gimmick of him wearing that monkey mask a lot. And I will say it even got to the point, it's like towards one of the final battles that he has where he starts out wearing the mask and then he just kind of takes it off and throws it away and we never see it again. Even though I thought it would have been a really cool look to at least see some of the action that he has with that mask. But I digress. Overall, the stunts in this film are really, really cool. The action overall is just awesome to see, and you feel most of it as it is shot pretty dang well. And I'm not the biggest fan of shaky cam. In fact, most of the time I hate it, but 99% of the time I actually enjoyed it in this film. And in general too, for the way that these action scenes are shot, it's never exactly the same, because each of these different fighting scenes, you do get a different camera technique used within it. You may not get this specific camera technique throughout the whole fight or most of it, but at least you get to differentiate the fights not only from other films, but from fights within this film itself, which honestly is a nice touch, because trying to keep it grounded, there's only so many things you can do to truly make it different from so many other films like this. And sticking with the cinematography / look at the film, I really like the lighting in this a lot. With the use of the different colors and actually utilizing a lot of the set to just peer through to other people, I just really appreciated how it decided to use filmmaking techniques to actually make this look distinct and not just dull and boring and claiming it's gritty and realistic. However, I'm not fully in love with the cinematography because, oh my goodness, the close-ups in this, I mean, it's just close-up galore here. There's so much of this film where you don't really go wider than like a medium shot, and it's because of this that you don't necessarily understand the landscape of the scene you're in most of the time, which sure, you don't always need to, but for so much of this film, when you're just moving throughout an environment like that, I would have liked a little more knowledge of just where everyone's at, where people are looking, how big the space is and stuff like that. Because honestly, for most of these places, you don't get a wide. You just kind of get a lot of close-ups or medium shots, and you have a lot of people in certain scenes, so just trying to find the spatial awareness of everybody and everything, it was just kind of lacking at times. Which, hey, to most people that's probably a nitpick, but to me, I like knowing the geography, especially when it comes to these fight scenes. And while we're at it with the negatives, I'll get into my second major one with this. It's that it comes to a screeching halt because the time management of this movie is just not the best. And this is where I think you can clearly tell that it's a directorial debut, because where we choose to spend time and the pacing of the film, like, it's incredibly inconsistent. At the beginning of the film and at the end of the film, you really feel like it's going fast paced, and you just feel like there's an energy about it that's just, well, it leaves you with a smile on your face. But as for the middle, as emotional as it can get, I just couldn't help but feel like it was such a slog. And mentally too, it just felt like it took up so much time of the film's runtime, but In reality, it didn't take up that much time, as the first and last parts of the film actually took up the same amount of time as the middle part. And granted, the third act of the film is worth sitting through that very slow part. But I'm unfortunately disappointed thinking how good and emotional that second act should have been. I wish for as grand as a feeling as this movie's trying to get you to feel, especially when Dev Patel's character is going through these revelations and such. I just feel like it could have been either focused up a bit more or actually sprawling to these other stories and just, I don't know, just done a bit better. And look, that's nothing against Dev Patel. This was his first time in the director's chair. In fact, honestly, for overall how I feel about the movie, I'm genuinely excited to see another film of his. Because overall, he directs action very well. He knows how to star in his own film. And I'm genuinely impressed because as much as his character isn't really the type to show his emotions or have his heart on his sleeve, you understood his thought process and where he's at emotionally. Also, I do want to say there's a lot of fun and funny moments that just sprinkled throughout the movie. And for a lot of it, it's exactly where you expect it to be. But because I was so drawn into the film and this world and Dev Patel's character, it took me by surprise and I just had a lot of great chuckles with it. Although certain characters, especially a funny character, I wish we got a little bit more of because he just, in that slog-ish part, he's just not in it at all. And I wish we got a little bit more because he is having his own story. So I wish we just got to peek into his world a little bit more. And I will say at the end too, I wish we got some sort of epilogue with these characters because the ending is satisfying, but again, for the most part, because some of these characters are just so stoic that you don't necessarily get the full emotional value that you could be getting out of them, especially when you don't have a proper epilogue. But anyways, overall, I really enjoyed my time with Monkey Man. I even took my press screening thing home with me, mostly just to show you guys here that this is just always a really cool thing that they sometimes do. Anyways, I did enjoy my time with Monkey Man. It was a lot of fun, and I'm just so excited to see where Dev Patel as a director goes next. Are there many people who saw this at South by Southwest or just earlier screenings than me that are blowing this movie out of proportion in the terms of quality? Yes. Speaking mostly to you, Jordan Peele, who said it was one of the best movies he's ever seen. Granted, he did produce the dang thing, so of course he's going to say that. But all in all, despite me being slightly disappointed because of the high expectations that I've been getting from so many people, I still highly recommend watching Monkey Man, especially if you're into action movies. You're just going to have a major blast with this film. I give Monkey Man a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I was kind of expecting to give this a 4 out of 5, but just because of some of the pacing issues, and again, it just being a directorial debut, and you could tell that it's a directorial debut, that's just gonna bring it down a bit for me. But again, a really fun time. I'm excited that this movie is going to be enjoyed by so many people. So please don't get mad at me for my opinion if I don't love it as much as you do, but I do really think that this is going to be such an audience pleaser. But alright, those are my thoughts on Monkey Man. Be sure to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you guys for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Be sure to stay tuned for more Yeti Films content, and I'll watch you later.